Okay, so if you missed that part, what I was saying to you is that we're going to do another Drake Council on Aging tutorial, an art tutorial. And this is what we're going to be doing today. Okay, that's a better shot. All right, so what will you need? What will you need for supplies? You will need acrylic paints. Acrylic paints you will need black, certainly, because we're gonna darken some of your greens and your blues. You're going to need black, green, blue, and red. And you're going to need, besides the black, you are going to need white and quite a bit of white. Hold that thought. My white, because I use so much of it, I buy it in these big, huge gallon jugs. You will not need this much white, but you will need to have it. You will need a plate to use as a palette, unless you have a real art palette, that would be okay. Lots of paper towels. You will need a canvas or canvas board. Now, if you're receiving the Drake Council on Aging art packs, they will have canvases and canvas boards in your packs. Now, you may have a 16 by 20, you might have a 14 by 18, you might have an 11 by 4. Whatever size you have, it truly doesn't matter, and you can work on a canvas or a canvas board. Okay, this is a stretched canvas. The canvas has been stretched over a wooden frame here. A canvas board is just canvas kind of glued to a board, a cardboard actually. Okay, and you can, even if you have other tutorials that you've done with us or anywhere else, and you decide, well, I don't really like that picture anymore, you can paint right over it. This is a repurposed canvas. I don't know if you can see, you can kind of see some little shadowy things going on underneath the white. And that's because I am repurposing this canvas. Now I'm using an easel here to hold the canvas up so you can see what I am doing while I'm doing it. It's not necessary for you to have an easel. You don't need to have one. If you have one, all well and fine, okay? You need to have water bowls that do not resemble whatever glass you're drinking your drink from. Your drink can be anything you would like it to be, okay? So brushes, you will need brushes. We want large flat brushes for doing background work. You will want a round brush, whichever one you have that's closest to this is fine. And this one actually has kind of a little bit of a point on top of it to get into the fine work a little bit. However, you will also have a small detail brush. Okay, this small detail brush will look something like this one. And for this picture, there's not a whole bunch of little small details in there, but for some of this branch work in here, you are going to want a smaller brush. Okay, so either a round brush that has a little bit of a point on it, or an actual detail brush, which is usually kind of a round-headed brush, but it's a lot smaller than your other brushes. And lots of paper towels. Wear paint clothes. Wear paint clothes. Acrylic paints. If you get them on you and they're still wet, you can kind of run into the washroom and with soap and warm water wash it off. Once it dries, it becomes permanent. My art clothes, which constitutes 50% of my wardrobe, I have bleached them and the acrylics do not come out. Okay, so I'm going to say the acrylics are permanent, so you'll want to wear art clothes or at least a smock. This is the art table, so as you can see, there's a lot of paint. There's been a lot of artwork done in this room. All right, so if you're working on a table that you care about, okay, cover it with plastic, cover the floor if you would like to. And this, it doesn't have to be with the expensive materials. I've gotten tablecloths from the dollar store. And when I've done paint parties out, you know, we just cover with the plastic tablecloths. Okay. The only other thing you need to complete this project is hot cocoa. Right now, hot cocoa is not mandatory. However, you will okay, so I am back through the magic of PCs and all kinds of good stuff. That was like, you didn't even know I left, right? Okay, so in case you missed the very beginning of it, I chopped it up or whatever, I am a very experienced painter, artist, teacher. Videoing, not so much, okay? I'm Joan Turner. I'm doing a Drake Council on Aging tutorial. Use art. Okay, so we are going to begin, right? You have your brushes, and like I said, cover things. So without further ado, right, we're going to look at this picture. And I actually want to put the paints out on my palette, right? And I'm going to reposition the camera also so that you can really see what I'm doing. And does your picture need to come out exactly like mine? Absolutely not. And these pictures are pictures that have inspired me. I saw them on the internet, on Pinterest, and good stuff like that. So, I mean, these are not pictures that you're going to want to sell or anything like that. It's someone else's idea. Okay. So, so if you see something you like, right, and you can get your own artist materials and so on and so forth. The Drake Council on Aging has been giving out art packs, and we are doing a number of different things this January. We're going to do a rock angel. We're going to do an outside, almost like a slate. It's a shingle, okay, but we're going to do like a shingle and an awesome green mandala. Okay, so stay tuned to stay tuned. Tell your friends, and let's get on to it. All right, so on this plate, I want to put white. Okay, and this is quite a trick because this particular, okay, that's a lot of white. I was going to say this particular pump does not really, it dries out, the pumps dry out, and I have quite a few of them, and I threw away the covers, so I absolutely need these on there. However, I need to take the tops off. So what I'm doing, and I have so much white on this plate, I'm actually going to go to another plate, but I want to put out all my colors, because whenever you do a painting like this, you want to work from the back forward, and this background has all of those colors in it. Okay, so we're going to have them at the ready. Acrylic paints dry relatively fast. So if you want to blend, you have to do it relatively fast. Okay, so if in fact I'm moving too fast for you, and some people I will move too fast, other people will be like, oh, I wish I would kind of hurry up. Because everyone is at a different level, certainly. But I'm putting out my green, I'm putting out some black. Okay, and like I said, I have so much white on this plate that I decided to go with a second plate. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not putting out whole bunches, especially not of the black and the green. I'm going to do a little bit more when I get to the blue, only because the picture actually has quite a bit of blue in it. Okay, so blue, let's put the blue. Okay, and whatever color blue you have is fine, because if you want it lighter, you can always add some white to it. If you want it darker, you can always add brown, or in this case, black, because we're going to have black out on our palette. So right now, I have green, black, and blue here. And let's put out some red. I'm getting messages. I'm double tasking over here. I'm getting messages as I'm speaking with you. And so I'm reading and working, and I promise from this point forward, pay total attention just to you. Okay, so on one palette, I have red, green, black, and blue. And on this one, I have this big glob of white, which I'm going to try not to get on my laptop. The other day, I was cleaning paint off my laptop. Not a good idea. So, okay, so I'm going to keep this handy. So if you can kind of print out this picture, all right, and again, you can stop the video at any time to catch up, to fix something, to do whatever you want, and nothing has to come out perfect. You know, kids are so, you know, they don't care if they make purple sunshine, blah, 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 but adults, for some reason, think everything has to come out perfect. It doesn't. They're not perfect beings yet. Okay, I did intuitive body and soul is my other business interest, and I did what I call a Tibbs TV mini chat today. We did it on the word yet. You know, if you say, oh, this is not coming out right, it kind of underlines, underscores, it's not coming out right. I say it's not coming out right yet, then that opens the door to it's going to come out because I'm going to fix it and make it good. So you might want to catch that one. Oh, yeah, that hot chocolate is hot. Okay, so I am going to try to get the camera focused fully on the easel here. Let me move some of these paints out of your way. And let me get myself a teensy bit closer. And usually when I do these, I go from, I hold the camera up high and really try to shoot downwards. But I had someone in here recently, and we were shooting a demo for the Greater Higgle Art Society, and we actually got a better shot with it, kind of a little bit down lower. So I'm actually going to try and get it to face me a little bit more, which means, that could work. Because whenever I paint, I'm doing these tutorials and I kind of like not facing me, so I'm painting sideways. But this could work. This could work. You guys, I am experimenting with you. Oh, don't get your hair in the paint. Okay, so I'll turn this way. This could work. I'm so excited now. Okay, I'm going to try it. If we need to adjust, we will adjust. Okay, so I'm holding my canvas horizontally versus vertically. Horizontal is from side to side. Vertical is tall, up and down, okay? Because this picture is basically a horizontal layout, okay, I'm going to hold my canvas the same way, okay? So, again, I said to you we're going to go from the back forward, and maybe if I leave this picture here, you will be able to see it really well. Okay, so at the very top of the picture, there's some really dark green going on around here. Okay, you like to get into my work here. Make sure you wear paint clothes. Okay. So I am going to take my green. I'm going to switch plates here. I'm going to take my green here, if you can see it, and I'm really going to darken it with quite a bit of black, right? Now, the reason that I mixed the green first is because the black is the stronger color, all right? So you always start with the lighter color, which in this case is the green, and add the black to it slowly. Okay, so I end up with this really kind of dark green. And I actually think I'm going to just take just a dab of the white in there. So that's what I'm going to end up with. So I'm going to put that right across the top. And you know what? Just jump right in there. Just go for it. And I don't think I mixed enough paint. So as you go along, you're going to realize, as you go along, what you need for paint. I'm going to go, and like I said, this is pretty dark up here, and I am doing this top part as well. And the reason for that is if I go ahead and bring the picture off the sides and the bottom of the canvas, I now have the option of just hanging, if this comes out really well and I really liking it, I have the option of hanging it as is, or I can go ahead and frame it. So now I have an option. I don't have to. If you don't do the sides, then you really do need to frame it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of white in here, and let me see if I can get this even better. Okay, so I'm taking this really dark green, and without even getting this perfect edge here, like this line down here. Can you see it? I'm going to go ahead and switch to my blue already. All right, and I'm going to work the blue right into the boundary of the green. Okay, let's see. And I might need, although that looks pretty good. I'm dipping in my white just a little bit, and I'm not cleaning my brush off when I do that. Okay, so this blue now is getting lighter, and I did that because I'm looking at the blue here in your picture, and it definitely is lighter. Okay, so let's see here. So it's definitely a lighter kind of blue, and like I said, it does not matter if your picture comes out exactly the same or not. And make sure you have plenty of paper towels, plenty of paper towels nearby. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm merging my blue right into my green, and again carrying over to my edges. And this again does not need to be perfect. So let's bring this here. All right, now I'm looking again here, and again I'm going to put a little bit of white into this blue, right? And I'm going to begin to drag that blue down even more so here. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm liking it already, and I want it to even lighter. So I'm going to add even more white here. Okay, the blue in that picture is a bit darker, so I'm going to take just the dark blue and just add it right to my picture. Okay, now you notice that I'm bypassing the clouds altogether because we're going to put those in afterwards. But for right now, I just want a nice, awesomely good background. All right, so here now we're moving into the pink. So now, this pink has a little bit of a purple hue to it. That's because purple and blue purple and red make, blue and red make purple, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I am going to wipe this brush off, wiping this brush off relatively well, and I'm even going to rinse it in the water. Now, when you rinse your brushes in the water, okay, make sure you get all the excess water out of your brush. All right, if it waters down the paints too much, you're not going to like the look of it. Okay, so I'm going to take this red, and I'm going to go over to the palette where my white is, and I'm going to mix the white and the red together and get this pinky color, all right, which that may be too light. Let me add some more red to it. Okay, so mix the colors in here. Now, again, I'm going back to here and putting in my pink. Now I put it kind of below the blue a little bit because I want it to be really pink here. All right, I'm going to add some white to it to pink it even more. Okay, but now as I come up to, I'm going to take all the white off this brush. All right, and I'm not dipping it in the water, but I now want to merge this boundary here. Okay, so as you can see, it's mixing with the blue a bit, and we're getting just a teensy bit of purple in here. So we're going from purple to pink. How lovely is that? Absolutely, absolutely. Love the colors. Okay, make sure you do your sides. Okay, as I was kind of yipping and yapping at you, I did not do my sides. So let's practice what we preach. Yeah. Okay. Let's get that off of there. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up, and as you can see, definitely not practicing what I am preaching at you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, clean it off my brush because now I want to definitely go to the pink on that side. So I'm going to dip into the pink and get that side done. All right. So I have, I'm letting the painting continue along the sides and along the back of the picture. All right. So we're building this really kind of awesome background here. I'm truly loving it. Right. So now we have this, it looks like a mountain range to me. Okay. It's right here, and it's the darkest blue yet. All right, so I am going to take this blue and put some over here, and then I'm going to take a little bit of black, because remember that the black is the stronger color here. Now look how rich that is, nice and nice. Okay, so even though it's a little darker than what I have here, I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And this kind of, there are some mountains up here, and it kind of comes down here, but it does come all the way to here. And then we have ground cover. All right, so I'm going to pick up this darker blue, and I'm going to get this kind of mountainy areas going on, like right about here. And it's okay if we get some of our pink in there. As a matter of fact, it looks kind of cool. I'm liking it. Okay, so there's a little bit of uneven ground back here that that definitely resembles a mountain area or a mountain range back here. Okay, so here we go. Here we have it. And I'm going to bring this over as well. Okay, there we go. You can see that I am doing that. Right, so I'm really kind of liking this color now. So I'm gonna bring it down to right about here. And again, you know, we're not looking for perfection. It does not need to be perfect. I see a spot that I forgot back here. Put it in with my hands. Hey, when in doubt, put it in there. Okay, so I'm going to work this side a little bit more down here. Okay, and I'm not really minding too much that the canvas is really dry here, because as I'm looking at this, we do have quite a bit of ground showing through. So I like the fact that it's a little bit darker down here. Can you see okay? Good. Okay, let's move you that way. A little bit darker down here than it is up there. As a matter of fact, I think I could make it even a little bit lighter. Okay, so a little bit lighter where this mountain range is meeting the sky here. Okay, our very colorful sky. Okay, let's do this. Oh, how beautiful, beautiful. Love colors, love color. Okay, so let's make sure that we're getting this side done, which we absolutely are. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just mix a little bit more of my dark blue, because down at this bottom, like I said, I like the fact that this top part is a little bit lighter and this part is a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and you can see I'm kind of scrubbing with this brush. This is called scumbling, right? When you kind of brushing or pushing the paint into your canvas. It's called scumbling. Isn't that cool? I'm scumbling this paint on here. So I absolutely love that. And let me go and get some more paper towels here. All right, and once again, I am cleaning off my brush with the intention of cleaning it in the water, because what I have is right here, I have some raw canvas, which I do not want, but I don't want to build this up. I like the fact that this is kind of drooping in the middle. So I'm going to clean my brush and have some hot cocoa. While I'm cleaning that brush, I'm just kind of swishing it around in the water. Yum. Good. Okay. And I have several water dishes out here. So the first dish kind of gets all the heavy paint off. And then, you know, by the time I get to the second or third one, the water stays relatively clean, thus the brush is clean. So I want to work in that part right there. So I am going to follow through with what's going on there, which is this pink area right here. Okay. Easy peasy. Love it. Okay. So again, I'm going to clean the brush off. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue for this area in here. Okay. All right. And again, the different values that are going on here. It's absolutely a-okay. And like I said, this darker, that's just going on here. I'm trying to figure out a way for you to see both the palette and the canvas. Okay. All right. So my scumbling days, at least for this mountain area, I could be finished. Right. So I'm really liking that, and I'm looking here at this, and totally liking it. Okay. And they take a little bit more of this blue up here and add it, scumble it right into here, just a little bit, picking up a little bit of white here. Okay. Going along here. But don't forget, we're also going to have some cloud cover in here. Okay, so while let's continue on with the bottom. Now this green at the bottom wants to be quite dark, like the very top. It kind of goes back down that way. Now let me take this green. Green. This is my original green. I'm adding a little bit of black to it, black a little at the time, until I get the kind of black, I get the kind of dark green that I want. Okay, it's pretty dark green, and I might even add a teensy bit of white to that dark green, so that I can get some of this color going on over here. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay, so once again, just kind of getting that on there, and I'm going to leave this bottom part white for some snow cover. Okay, but all this part's going to be green, right? So here's our picture. Here's my green, and let's get it on. Okay, so again, if I'm moving too fast, stop the tutorial, stop the TV, the tape, whatever it is that you're watching this on, and catch up. And don't rush. Do things at a pace that is comfortable for you. Okay, so again, if this is too fast for you, just slow it down. Just turn it off. Just halt it, pause it. Just pause it. Okay, so I've picked this up so that I can do the edge. And I see a little bit of blue that I missed over here. Let's grab a little bit of blue and put that in. But now, look what we have. Okay, exciting, exciting. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up into my blue a little bit over here. This is such an exciting kind of color here. I'm going to go just a teensy bit darker down here. Okay. And now, and a teensy bit lighter over here. Now, I would like for this to be a little bit snowy back here, okay, and in the foreground. But I also would like a little bit of snow in that foreground. So I'm putting white just on the corner of my brush like this, and I am going to put snow in between the green and the blue. Okay, a little bit of snow here, a little bit of snow, a little bit of snow over here. Let's just get a little snow in there. Okay, and down here, let me see if I can get this over here. I am going to put in white. Okay, so my white is coming out kind of green, which I think is going to be okay. Because once it dries just a little bit, I'm going to put more white on it. Okay, so I'm doing my little edge here. Okay, a little bit of white, kind of whitish over here, more white here and here. Okay, so I'm doing the bottom. And I'm going to do the sides. Yeah. All right. So I'm just dipping into the white now, and I still have green on my brush, so it's kind of coming out a greenish white color, which is okay because I wanted to have a little bit of ground, a little bit of snow back there. I would like this to be even a little bit whiter back here. If I look over here, I can see a little bit of white over there, which I kind of liking. So I'm going to bring that into my picture as well. Okay, and again, you know, nothing needs to be exact. It's, you know, when you see something and you are totally inspired by it, I think that is the super best thing in the entire world, because it means that the picture is meaningful to you. It means something. Okay, so so I'm thinking more white here. All right, so, and it doesn't have to be a smooth white. We want it to look like there's some mounds of snow in here. Okay, and let's let this dry just a little bit here. Just a little bit. I'm going to pick up some more color up here. Before you ever start your foreground, make sure that your background is really done the way you want it to, if you're going to make any adjustments to it, so on and so forth. Students are infamous for, you know, doing a background and then doing a foreground, and then they go back and they're like, I think I want to change the background to this. And then they're trying to paint around the trees and get in between the branches. It's not, it doesn't work. It doesn't work out well. Okay, so this is what we're having here so far. It's looking quite good. Okay, so now I think this may be dry enough to go ahead and put our clouds in. We want our clouds to be poofy and puffy. I'm cleaning off this brush once again, and once again, while I am swishing my brush around and having some hot cocoa. Okay. All right, and taking more paper towels. Like I said, make sure you have a nice roll of paper towels handy for yourself. Okay, so we want this a little bit. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of a redder red going on here. Oh, maybe that's work. Hold that thought. All right, I think we can just throw this red out. Huh. Once it's been sitting there for a while, and this one was injured anyway, so it had a lot of, it has a lot of air getting at it, which is what is the problem there. Okay, so I am, okay, so let's go ahead and put in, I want to put in a little bit more blues. I was going to say brown. I want to put in a little bit more of my blues up here into my sky. Liking that. Through there. Smooth it up just a little. Okay, and again, I'm not doing the whole area. I am just really brushing some color in here, in and around here. Okay, so I'm liking that. Truly, truly. All right, so I actually started cleaning my brush. I got sidetracked. I sidetracked myself. No one else has to do it. I got water in my heel. Hold that thought. Let's pick the water up the floor. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more red to this area. I like this pinky purpley stuff going on up here, but this I would like it to be a little bit redder. So I'm going to clean my brush. After I do, I'm going to wipe it dry. Again, we don't want a lot of excess water in there. And I'm going to dip just in the red here and just pull a little bit of red here. Okay, now I'm being careful where I'm putting it. But again, you know, when you're getting ready to do your foreground, which we are getting ready to do our foreground, really look at that background and make sure that you are super happy with your background and that you're not going to want to keep changing it around once you start your foreground. Okay, so any changes you want to make, now is the time. And I'm thinking I wanted my colors a little bit more vivid in here. I add a little bit of blue to this side, so I get that purpley hue that's up there that I'm really, really liking. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of red, a little bit more red here, a little bit more red here. Okay, working it into my blue. And again, that's what's giving me that little bit of a purpley hue. Okay, taking the white over here and getting this kind of blended, nice. Okay, very exciting too when a piece really starts to come together a little bit. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to put in my clouds, which once again means cleaning the brush. And actually, we could switch to another brush. And over here, okay, I'm going to do these clouds, all right? And at some point, I have to do that little sliver of a moon there. But for now, let's think clouds, all right? So let's move this way. I can really see. And I'm getting my palette with all of that white that I ripped on out of there. Okay, and I'm just kind of loading my circular brush at this point. And you can definitely use your square head brush, but I'm going to say, you know, if we want something really round, I'm going to use a rounder brush. All right, and the trick with the clouds, okay, is don't be so neat. You know, I get students get really, really, really neat. You know, they try to make their clouds really, really neat. So I'm going to say, just kind of play around a little bit over here. And over here, they're not really even attached. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them down on this side a little bit. There's a little bit going on over here, all this good stuff. All right, so I think that's pretty much what I want to do there. Ah, okay, hold that thought. Let's get the paint off of the floor. While I'm doing that, what's happening is the paint is actually drying a little bit on the canvas, which is not a horrific thing. So I'm going to take my wide brush once again, okay, and I'm going to begin to feather them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use a dry brush, a different dry brush. So either use a dry one or dry the one that you have. So I have these kind of wispy clouds going across my canvas. So now I want to make them wispy. So I'm going to get in nice and close here. And I'm going to begin to scumble these bottoms. At least I thought I was going to. Maybe I let it dry too much. Oh, wait a minute. Let's scumble along here. Let me see if I can get nice and close so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm taking these clouds and I want them to look really poofy. And a lot of the background blue is actually kind of showing through them. That's okay. Let that be okay, because we can always go back and kind of highlight them afterwards. So I'm really blending them into the background here. Okay, just backing them out. Okay, dry brushing them a little bit here and there. Going over to my side a little bit. Okay, wiping off the brush again. Then I have all this cool paint over here, which I want to drag right into the, drag it right into the sky. So I'm just wetting the brush just a little bit, because while I was picking up the paint off the floor, we may have dried a bit more than I wanted it to. But as you can see, okay, just a tip in the water, okay, will do the trick. Okay. So now I have these really cool clouds going on over here. They're really full, nice full clouds. And because I have some of the color of the sky happening behind them, okay, that really ties everything in together. So my thought is to get a little bit more white. Okay, okay, so I'm just getting a little white on my brush. I'm gonna put a little bit more white here. And I also want to put a little bit more here and here. Okay, so I'm just buffing out these clouds a little bit. Okay. And I don't know if buff is kind of a Joan word, buffing out the clouds, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to go here. And I wanted it to be, I want you to get a nice close-up of the cloud work here, only because typically students will say that they have a hard time, having a hard time with the clouds. Okay, so I actually want to really blend the clouds into my sky here a little bit. I'm really I'm using some of this darker blue here, and just really blending the sky back in just a little bit at the bottom of my clouds. And and you may not need to, like I said, my paint dried just a little bit more and I wanted it to. So I'm actually just redefining. It's a good way to put this. Redefining this sky a little bit. And again, you know, you're not, you don't want to try to redo your background, okay? You can accentuate your clouds, absolutely. Don't try to redo your background. You will make a miserable, you have a miserable time with it. You will not be a happy camperette, okay? So, looking at this little guy over here, I think I'll put a little bit more blue up there. Oh, here we go. I'm going to move this back again a little bit so you can get a little bit more of the dynamics of what's going on here. So I have this awesomely cool sky going on. And let this dry out just a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in and make these clouds even whiter in certain spots. Because right now you can kind of see some of the blue through the clouds, which is absolutely okay. We definitely would like them to be more poofy and a little bit rounder. Okay, so while that is happening, let's stop you just for a moment. So let me make sure, oh, we are recording. Okay, so what I wanted to do here is just take a few minutes and just dry out those clouds a little bit, and we want to get them a little whiter and a little fluffier, okay? So they're relatively dry. I am going to take my small detail brush, this one, and I'm going to dip it right in the white paint. I'm using the white paint, and I'm going to hold this in my hand so I can see, and see how the very tops in here, I'm making them a teensy bit whiter, okay? And remember that the blue of the paint underneath was kind of showing through, and we like that. We like that idea. But look what's happening here, all right? And so I'm taking some of this, some parts of the cloud, and I'm making them a little bit whiter, okay? Especially at the tops, I think, a little bit through here. Bring it down here somewhat, okay? And I am definitely letting the brush run out of paint as I come close to the bottom of the cloud. Now, see, let's get in close here and take a look at what's going on with this cloud. And hopefully, without getting any on the computer, okay, I can show you a little bit closer what I'm doing here. So I'm actually taking and putting some down here because I would like the cloud to look very rounded. Okay, so a little bit of contrast under here. Okay, and we're leaving the dark, leaving the dark in the middle of the cloud and letting it get kind of really buffy in there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and I did start doing a little bit over here as well. Okay. There we go. There we have it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Can you see that okay? Oh, yes, you can. Okay. A little bit here, like this. We're just accentuating, just bringing out those clouds just a little bit more than they were. Okay. So now my clouds come way down over here, and I'm going to put a little bit of white down here. Again, it's in an effort to make them look really kind of rounded. And not all clouds do. Sometimes you look up in the sky and you get what I think are wispy cirrus clouds. I think the big buffy ones like this are called cumulus clouds. I could have that totally the wrong way, but I think you get the idea. All right, so these clouds want to be kind of buffy looking, full. Okay. So I'm just, okay, and when I like the way they look, I'm going to stop. Okay, so, you know, do they look exactly like that? Yeah, I'm going to say no, but I think that that's okay. I'm actually just rinsing my brush in the water, and then actually just drying it just a little bit. So I am leaving some water here. And the reason I'm doing that is to work the middle of the clouds, okay? Because again, I want them to very much look connected, of course, right? But I still want them to be a little bit darker, darker than the bottoms and tops. Okay. So we're going to kind of let them, some of them are just disappearing into the sky. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. I might have to leave it just as it is. And like I said, these clouds are, you know, they're fuller here and then they kind of drift off over here. So here, I guess they could be a little bit more, come down a little bit lower here. But I think when you like something, when you like the way it looks, stop developing it, okay? One of the things that I do, and I find that students do, it's like, oh yeah, we like that, let's do more, let's do more. And then you end up maybe overdeveloping a little bit, and then you're kind of like trying to fix things, but that's okay, that's okay. So I want to use our detail brush. Now I want to put this little sliver of a moon in. Now, the tendency is always to kind of make it too big, right? So I'm using just a very watered down white here, and just kind of giving myself, and I'm starting off a little bit smaller than I think I want, because the more I add, the thicker it gets. So while it's still nice and light, and I could actually pick it up quite easily if I wanted to, I'm just going to kind of look at it, all right? Now mine is more towards the center than theirs is. It's kind of like over here. It's probably okay no matter where you put it, as long as you don't put it dead center. Okay, if you put it dead center in the middle of your composition, you're really going to throw it off a little bit. Okay, so now that that is really where I want it, I'm actually going to take it off the easel now, and I'm going to lean my hand right up against the dry part. I'm using my smallest brush here. Okay. And I think I'm going to turn this around. So I get this like this. All right. So whatever it is that you have to do to get your moon in the right place, go forth and conquer. Okay, now the other thing that you can do is use a cap, you know, the size of a cap that you would like, and just do, obviously, just one side of it. That will work. Okay, let's put this in our water. Let's let this just dry out for a few seconds. Water. Okay, and I'm using one of my palettes here to just dry this out just a little bit. like I said, acrylic paint dries relatively fast. So the other thing that I wanted to do before we actually start putting the tree on here is to get this foreground in just a little bit better. Okay, so we want, I'm going to move this back a little. I'm going to take my flat brush, large flat brush, and I've had it in the water, and now I'm cleaning the excess water off, and my diminishing roll of paper towels. Let's clean, let's get this all off of here. Okay, so again, I'm always using that picture to, as a guide, okay? So what I thought I would like to do is make this white area in the front kind of a lot whiter here, okay? So I am going to do that. And you notice that I'm not totally covering the green here, which I think is okay. It's because we want a little bit of ground variation there, if you will. Okay. So same thing back here. Kind of want it to look like the snow is kind of scattered a little bit here and there. Right, so I'm holding the brush this way. I'm not holding it flat up against the canvas. I'm actually holding it on its edge here and just kind of scumbling once again back and forth here and just bringing this snow down and around, okay? And I have very little paint on the brush at this point. Okay, so I want a little bit of snow coming down over here, I think. Not putting too much where the tree is going to go because there's a lot of white on the tree and I don't want it to vie for the viewer's attention. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly get this good stuff going on in here. All right, now, if I look really close at this, there's actually a shadow here. But let's put the tree in before we actually do the shadow work. Okay, so I'm gonna just scumble some snow in here. Scumbling along, singing the song. Do, 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 do. Okay. That actually is looking quite cool. I like it. I'm liking it. Okay, I'm gonna put that big brush back in the water. Have some more cocoa. As I told you, the cocoa pot is very important here. Okay, so I think we're ready to put in our tree, unless we want to maybe not make this quite so white. All right. So in the lineup of paints, I did not mention any brown, but as I'm looking at this picture, we might want to put some very dark browns in here. Okay, so maybe grab a little bit of brown. If you do not have brown in your in the pack that you received from DCOA, if you mix red and let me see, green and red. Sorry about that. Green and red will make brown. Okay, so if you do not have blue in your primary pack of paints, mix a little bit of green and red and you will get some brown. Okay, so I'm actually, what I'm seeing in here is again some kind of brownish green spots. There's some earth showing through. And while we have a little bit going on here, I think we could use just a tad more. So I'm actually going to take the green, which I'm not sure. The green is still wet in there. So let's add a little bit of green. Yeah. Let's add a little bit of green, more green to our palette. very little green to our palette because the green is running low. Okay. And the paint has a tendency to dry on the tops of the paint. So go ahead and take that right off of there. Okay, so I have this little bit of green here, which I'm going to add a little bit of brown to. So I get some kind of ground colors in here. Okay, so again, just kind of scumbling along here. And the type of green that you make is totally up to you. It does not have to be this color green. Oh, let's do a little bit of green. That looks very brown. Okay, so we're just kind of getting a little bit in there. And let's see if we can get a little bit more green on here. And I'm actually maybe just a little bit on the bottom here. Just add a little bit of green to our picture. And this is almost, this brush almost doesn't have any paint on it. So this is a really light ground color. I'm actually going to just tip the bottom of my brush in the water, maybe, and see what happens here. Oh yeah, okay, I get a really dirty green color, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, so let's get this stuff going up here. Get our dirty groundwork over here. I gotta tell you, okay, I'm dipping in the white a little bit to kind of get my dirty snow back under control. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm totally loving that. Right, so I'm going to take my big brush now and I am going to put it in the water because I'm going to switch to my small round head, which I'm not going to drip on my computer, thank you. Okay, this is it. So this is what it looks like. Right, so I'm going to take a little bit of that brown mixture that you made, and I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. So black is still the stronger color, so I'm always going to start with the brown first and then add the black to it slowly until I get something that I really like. Okay, and then I'm going to decide where this tree is going. Okay, the middle of the painting is right here. This tree is just off center and to the right. So in order for me to get it where I need to go, I need to just take this canvas for a second, and I'm actually going to draw up. Okay, I'm going to take my brush and draw up the canvas like this. Okay, and how far up is the tree going? It's going right up to here. It's going right up into almost into the clouds here. So I'm taking this small brush and I'm actually making a tree trunk. Okay, here I can move some of this stuff over and get you an even better view, okay, of what's going on here. All right, so you can see that my centers here have gone off center and a little bit to the right. And I'm looking at this picture. Now, obviously, trees are always a little bit thicker at the bottom. So I'm going to make this a little bit thicker at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to actually bring some little bit tree roots out here this way. Okay, and I'm going to thicken this a little bit. But remember that it has to, definitely has to get smaller as it gets up to that top. So this, if I had to say that there was a challenging part to this picture, the tree is probably it, okay? And part of the reason is that it's definitely in the foreground, all right, and which means that anything now in the background has to stay put there. It has to stay where it is. Okay, so I'm working here. All right, so I'm working on that tree trunk a little bit, and now I'm wondering, I'm going to take a really close look at this, and I do see that it goes off in this direction, just a little bit here, okay, and then this one kind of goes here, and then you have one that goes here. At least I think so. And if it doesn't, it does now. Okay, but we need a bunch of little branches going up. So I'm going to switch to the smallest brush that I have. Anything with a small point on it will be fine. Okay, and so the smallest brush I have, I'm gonna bring it up here like this and like this. And I'm going to start making some branches here. And as they get up here, they get really wispy and really small. And I'm actually kind of not even looking at my picture anymore at this point because I can't really see where they're going. All I know is that the basic shape of it does one of these. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so again, using the brown and the black because these are pretty dark here, and there's a lot of little branches going on over here. So they're very small, very tiny. So you know, I'm actually going to dip the brush in the water, and what that's going to do for me is make this paint very thin. Okay, so that I can pull it out here and there and everywhere. Okay, so remember that I want the basic shape to kind of be, you know, one of these a little bit because I want it to come out this way and this way. Kind of looks like an umbrella shape here. Okay, and we're gonna cover. We're gonna put a lot of white snow. This is winter's tree here. So we have a lot of little branches coming out. And again, I want this kind of shape. So I have it coming out kind of far on this side with lots of little branches. Okay, same thing over here, lots of little branches. And you know what? If it's not exactly the same, we do not care. We absolutely do not, all right? This is your creation here. Okay. So I'm actually working down here. I'm going to give us some root work going on over here. And again, we do in fact want to have a shadow from this tree. All right, so from this tree, okay, let me use the other side. So from the base of this tree going off to the right and down a little bit. Okay, so it's doing one of these and just kind of coming down here. Right, so we have a shadow. We have a tree shadow here. And it's a little bit lighter than the actual tree. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab some of my white here and put in my tree shadow. Tree shadow, tree shadow. Okay, so now I have a shadow. It's kind of doing one of these a little bit. Okay. All right, so let me kind of work this shadow a little bit. Kind of coming this way, doing this, one of these. Right, so it's thicker. The shadow is thicker over here. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit more color here to my shadow. I'm going to straighten this out slightly because even though there's quite a few bends going on here, there may not be quite as many as I put in there. So I'm going to bring some branches out, not a whole bunch. Okay. And I kind of obliterated this little tentacle down here. Okay, so let's kind of put that back in. Voila. And bring it out into the shadow. All right, good, good. Okay. All right, so now we have a shadow. And let's fix some of this just a little bit. And I'm actually going to put a little bit more snow around here, a little bit. Not real clean snow. Okay. Let's put some over here. Okay, so I'm just using the kind of brownish, blackish color that's still on my brush in the white. Just kind of making some dirty snow, if you will. Okay. So even though we don't want it to be like really, really dirty, we do want it to look like there's some ground under there. Okay, so I'm going to straighten out this little guy just a little bit. Okay, and we're going to let him dry a little bit more, and then we'll just kind of work on that tentacle a little bit. Okay, so here I want the snow piled up behind him, and a little bit in through here. Okay, so I'm just dabbing. I'm actually just dabbing the snow on with my brush. Okay, and that side, like I said, we might have to let that dry a little bit more, but I can dab some snow on there already. Okay, all right. So let's we can do some dabbing going on here. Okay, a little bit of dabbing of snow here and there, and it just adds to the uneven look of the ground. Okay. There we have it. I'm going to add a teensy bit more over here as I want to. Okay, so I'm just kind of dabbing our snow on here a little bit. So it looks like little areas of snow. Okay, and you can get as creative or not as you want with this, certainly. But I like a little bit of texture, so we'll give it a little, some bumps, I guess, is what it looks like here. So a little bit of bumps. Okay, so now we want to do the actual tree. Okay, and again, the shape of the tree is kind of, it's going to go like this. Okay, so you want to kind of keep the idea of the shape of the tree in mind, okay, when you're doing that. So I'm giving myself what I call guide dots, right? So let's see, I'm going to come out here a little bit, maybe up here a little bit. Okay, so before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead now and put this brush in the water, and I want to use a really dry brush to kind of dab on those that tree-like area. So this brush is a dry brush. So if you do not have a dry brush, dry off the brush that you're using, and a round one is going to be better here. Or you can actually use you could actually use a piece of sponge if you wanted to, or you can, let's clean this off for a second. And I'm going to take a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to just dip it in the water. And let me show you my water. Okay, so I'm going to dip it in the water like this. All right, so this is something that you can do. Okay, and I'm taking all the water out of it. And then I'm going to kind of shake it out a little bit, Shake it out, baby. So if you don't have a sponge or a dry brush, you can always use a paper towel, believe it or not. So I'm going to just kind of bunch it up loosely in my hand. All right, and now I'm going to dip it into the paint, and I'm actually going to kind of chest it out over here and see what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm very lightly going to put it on here, all right, and that works amazingly well. Okay, can you see that? That is so awesome. Okay, so I'm putting it in here, but when I first put it in, and I'm not putting it in here really heavy. I'm just putting a little bit at the top, and then I'm taking most of the paint off. Okay, and then very lightly dabbing over here, very, very lightly, because I want to see, some of my limbs, my tree limbs here. Okay. So I have quite a bit here. Again, gonna dip a little bit here. I'm going to take most of it off, and then I'm going to add to my tree. That actually looks quite beautiful. Right, and it comes down here a bit too. It's a big, beautiful tree. I'm gonna bring it right out here. Nice. Ah, I like it. You liking it? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and kind of put this aside, and I'm going to take the water off my computer, and with my small round brush, okay, which is this one, all right, your small brush, I want to start to direct, or kind of, I can see that the limbs have some snow on them. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on there. I'm going to start making some snowy limbs in through here. Okay. And I have an even smaller brush. Let me see. Do that. Okay, because these have a lot of little wispy, snowy things going on here. Like I said, the easiest way to get them on is to actually sponge them on, or I use a paper towel. Paper towel actually worked out really, really well. So I want to cover some of the limbs here with snow. Okay, so I'm just making a little bit of snow. I'm gonna dab a little bit of snow on the side of this tree, and it's kind of coming up the trunk a little bit here. Okay. So I have this going on. Right. So a tree actually has a lot of what look like white stems. White stems going on here. And I would like some of this to be a little bit fuller up here. So again, using that small kind of round brush, I'm thickening some of these, especially around where my stems are. Okay, let's get this in here, and it gives really gives some shape to our tree. Okay, a lot of snow on this limb here. Okay. And we have a few little guys going on around here, because it's coming around the front. We have some really wispy little guys over here. Some over here. I'm going to add just a little bit of snow again to this side of the tree trunk, but not as much as the other side. Okay, so I'm going to bring out some of these limbs. Okay, and remember that there's a lot of snow on these limbs. This is winter's tree. It's white and beautiful and frosty. It has frost on it. Okay. It's frost on our tree. So I'm going to take a look at this tree. I'm actually going to clean my brush. Okay, the brush that I was using there. And I'm going to dip it into the water and not dry it off really, really well, because I want to drag some of this white into the tree itself, only because I just feel like the tree is so vivid compared to the rest of the picture that I want to just kind of water it down just a little bit. Where is my brown plate? Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this brown and just kind of put this in here. Like I say, if the tree in the photograph, in the picture, is really on the thin side, mine is more on the thicker side, okay? But I'm really liking that, right? And I'm going to take this once again and put a little bit more up here. I like how full it looks over there. So I'm going to put a little bit more around these edges and a little bit more in the foreground here. I have to say, I truly, truly like it. All right, so I'm going to take the back of the brush and actually pull out some lines in here. All right, I'm going to dip in the brown a little bit here and just very, very wispy little lines in through here. And this is going to bring some of our tree limbs back to us a little bit. Okay. And the only other thing I see that I am not crazy about is this little bit of snow over here. So I'm actually going to, what did I do with my white? Okay, let's make this a little whiter into here, like this. And I'm going to take my liner brush, which is my really small brush, and just fix this line a little bit. I didn't like how brown it really was. I just lighten it up just a little bit. Okay, so now's the time to do all that good stuff. So you're just kind of putting in the little finishing details and touches here. This is kind of my favorite part of the picture. Favorite part of the artwork is getting these little touches in. Okay. Okay. This could be it. Love it. What do you think? Let's see here. Oops, let's get the paint out. Get the paint out of the way. Okay, here is our picture. What do you think? I think ours is really, really awesome. I'm going to say, let it dry. Okay, and once it does, if you have some spray varnish or some Mod Podge, which you might have from some of your craft kits that DCOA is giving out. And if you don't have any of that stuff, okay, spray with hairspray, all right, or leave it the way it is. Okay, usually I like to have a little sheen on them, so I usually Mod Podge, varnish, or do something cool like that. Okay, this is a close up. Okay, everyone, Have an awesomely good evening, because it is evening here. All right. Have a really cool rest of the day, the week. All right. If you need anything, call the extremely awesome people at the Drake Council on Aging. If they cannot help you, they can definitely connect you with someone who can help you. All right. Have any questions about this artwork? How did you get that paint this way? How did it? And people do call me, so do not be afraid to call 978-807-7608. It's my cell phone number. And at most cases, not able to answer the phone right away. But I always, always, always answer my messages, okay? So leave me a message and say, hey, I have a question about the tutorial that you did, and it's called Winter's Tree. Okay, if you do have any questions, you can email me if you are nervous about calling, which you should not be, Jonissa at Comcast.net. It's JOAN as in Nancy, I, S as in Steve, and A at Comcast.net. All right, so you can email me there. I have a Facebook page. I've retired my Jones Art Gallery website, but Jones Art Gallery /Haverhill on Facebook, and you can see whole bunches of cool pictures and stuff on there. Okay, and you can contact me there as well. All right, anything that you need. I know the staff is in at Drake Council on Aging. They can help you with trips to the doctors, Meals on Wheels. I know Noelle is doing live exercise on Mondays at 9 a.m. on Mondays, Facebook Live. And they are recorded as well. So you, even if you not up at 9 o'clock, which there should be, actually, you can get up at any time you want. You can still watch them because they're recorded. Okay, so DCOA is a real people-oriented community. They're very awesome people. And we're also going to share this tutorial with the Greater Haverhill Arts Association, VATV. So they're really awesome about letting me share them and giving everyone an opportunity to, even if you're stuck inside the house, still have an opportunity to do something extremely cool. And remember, if you need help, call them or me. If you can help someone, go out and help someone, all right? Have an awesomely good new year. Happy New Year. We're going to make this a really good year. It's going to be the best year yet. Okay, everyone? Good night, and I will talk to you all soon.